Welcome back to Patch Notice. I'm your host, Jackie. I wasn't able to get a patch notice out on the day of release for this one, as I was travelling home from the Ala Compass finals, which I was commentating with Henry G. Now back at home, I've had a chance to dive into the update, so let's have a look what Valve have done. First and foremost, they've made a change which is worded in a way to make you believe that you'll no longer have visibility issues when a player breaks a smoke that you're inside of. I imagine there was a more common problem with the visibility not being one-to-one of what you see or what the player inside of the smoke sees. However, testing this in most cases, that seems to be true, unless you're inside of a tunnel. Testing this on upper tunnels in Dust 2, you can see when you break a smoke, from the third person perspective, you have vision, whereas from the first person perspective, the vision still remains clouded. I'm not sure if this is a bug or something weird about tunnels specifically, but maybe something Valve needs to play around with a little bit more. Let's move on to the HUD changes then. Before today's update, the health bars did not contain numerical values. They were just bars that would run underneath your profile pictures. As of today's update, they're now far chunkier and contain your actual health number, so you can instantly know how much health your teammate has, rather than worrying about, oh, is it 20 HP or 30 HP. Let's get into the graphics changes then. They've added a separate option to allow you to choose between dynamic shadows or sun only shadows. Of course, that just means if you get shadows cast just by the sun, which is predefined on every map, or by dynamic light sources across different maps. Here you can see on screen a comparison of what the different shadow quality options look like, as it does reduce the range a little bit if you have it on the lowest. It also makes it hard to read the shadows sometimes, as the quality of them reduces drastically from very high all the way down to low. It's kind of one of those where you might want to play around with it and see, if there's a benefit of FPS loss versus shadow quality. Here with dynamic light sources, you can see specifically what I mean about the cast of the shadow distance and also just how crisp the shadows are. It's possibly more helpful to keep your shadow quality setting on high even after today's update. One thing you should absolutely not do though is set it to sun only shadows. Make sure that you have it on dynamic shadows or you're giving yourself a disadvantage in competitive Counter-Strike. Moving on from that, the last change in today's patch was the Bowie knife. Before today's update, and for about 8 years, the Bowie knife has only had one hand, the right hand that holds the blade. Your left hand model would never be seen in first person. Apparently, a Valve developer woke up in a cold sweat last night and realized this had to be added. So there you go, you can now have two hands with the Bowie knife. Outside of that, nothing else has changed with the weapon, but as you can see, your left hand will pop back in when you're not inspecting it or attacking with it. So just a bit of a change for Bowie knife users then. But that's it for your patch notice, so get back out.